In May of 2018, the Earthspirit community gathered to celebrate the 40th annual Rites of Spring. At this important anniversary, we took time to reflect on our stories and our roots, time to explore how participation in this community and in the times that we come together have affected the lives of those who gather on the mountain each year.
I think one of the things I remember hearing about Rites of Spring for years before I actually came. So I was community member of Dance New England, was doing all kinds of community stuff, and had hearing about, oh, there's this amazing gathering called Rites of Spring, and some people going, oh, it's all those pagans. And I was like, what's a pagan? Until finally one of my closest, dearest friends said, oh no, you have to come. So I think that first year was 2000. And so it was here at High Rock. And I remember not having any idea what was going to happen, right? I didn't identify as a pagan. At that time, I think I was probably, I culturally identified as being Jewish, because that was like the spiritual tradition that I was most familiar with, and Buddhism. So I was like those two. But was Cuba, and had always thought about feeling spirit in nature, right? So I was like, okay, I'm sure I can, I'll be fine when I go, right? And so I remember coming, and I remember the opening ritual, and thinking, holy shit, this is so, it was just so full of energy, and so full of, this level of specialness, and that I had never felt before. And the fire lighting ritual, I was like, oh, that's really amazing. And then I remember going to the fire circle and someone coming out in full leathers, right? Like from head to toe, like leather hat, and putting a log on the fire, and I was like, what is that? Right? I was like, oh, that's cool. And so then I think I spent that whole first rites hanging out at fire circle, and feeling really called. And so then the next year I came and did Village Builders, and I think that was Rites of Rain, which was a different experience. But the sense, and also this amazing sense of community and connection, and seeing, and also how friendly people were. Like, people were just interesting, and I'm a science fiction geek and a nerd, so I could have all those amazing conversations, and it felt like home. So one of the extraordinary influences that Rites of Spring has had on my life is that almost everything that I have learned around my relationship with the divine and what spirituality is started here in my relationship with Rites, and my relationship and participating in, witnessing, observing, embodying ritual. And so the excuse the pun, the magic, the magic of the magic of Rites has been that the level of exposure that I got over the years to various spiritual traditions created a foundation and a sense for me of the diverse array of how spirituality happens in my life and happens in other people's lives. And so my capacity and my effectiveness and impact in doing spiritual work, because now I'm an ordained UCC, United Church of Christ minister, which is like, wait, but you're a pagan, how is that possible? And the reason it's possible is because what I learned at Rites about how divinity and how God shows up, it was so expansive and expressive that I could take what I experienced here at Rites, and then realized, ooh, that's one flavor of spirituality. And then I could see how I deeply and profoundly appreciate Judaism, and how I deeply appreciate West African-based spiritual, earth-based spiritual traditions. So it was a natural progression for me to finally discover progression Christianity. So now I go around the country, and I go around the world doing workshops around the intersection of faith and spirituality and social change. I do work around courageous conversations across difference, and so many of the lessons and the experiences that enable me to do that comes directly out of my being a member at Rites. And I have deep, profound gratitude for everything that I've learned at Rites, and how after coming back after 10 years and still feel like I came back a year ago, because it's such a homecoming, and there's such love, and and I feel the spirit, not just in the land, but the spirit in the people. That is really, really so heart fulfilling for me. So I think one of the many things that I appreciate about Rites and Rites as a community is how the community, in how it does ritual. Like, the first time I understood and experienced the deep power of ritual, and how it is way beyond, it's not intellect, right? It is not up here. That ritual is in here and in here. And so it was probably the first maypole ritual. But no, actually it was the first opening ritual that I came to. And the multiple layers, so the layers of chant, and the layers of moving my body while walking, and the layer of being in a line with people, and feeling the energy and feeling the connection with the people that I'm walking with, and feeling the connection with the earth and the land, and feeling the connection with spirit. I had never experienced that before. And so there's something in how Rites of Spring and the Earthspirit community grounds everyone who comes in this extraordinary feeling of what it's like to be fully connected. And so I've learned so much about how to do the importance of ritual and how to do ritual well, right? How important it is to have a particular aesthetic in how we do ritual, and how it calls me into something that's way beyond what I know intellectually. So the magic of the fire circle. So I think one of the extraordinary things about Rites is the fact that we have this profound experience of drumming and singing and chanting and doing magical work around the fire. And the community that has been built by us dancing, walking and walking some more around the fire is such a, I don't know how to describe it. It is just this, oh, I know what it is. It's the moment that the rhythm connects with the chant, that connects with the movement. And so to have all those things click into synchronicity is one of the most powerful, delightful, extraordinary things that I experience. And and when I think about how we joke around, like how many times we have walked around the circle together. You like if we were to count how many people times how many times every time that we've done it all night, and over how many years, it's just and that has woven an energetic web for those of us who come to the fire. And so that web, that energetic web, connects me. So it can be a year, it could be 2 years since I've seen any one of my beloveds from Fire Circle, and it's as if no time has passed at all. So I so experienced that in the Fire Circle, and that same web I experienced at Rites as a whole.